Hey, mom friends! This is Functional Medicine for Moms, where we look at motherhood through the lens of functional medicine. I'm your host, Kelly Moline, a pharmacist with advanced training in functional medicine. From pregnancy and postpartum to everyday parent life, we talk root causes, natural solutions, and real stories from our own family's journey, plus conversations with experts along the way. Welcome back to the podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. Thanks for listening. I have a new guest today who doesn't have a medical degree, and I'm really excited. Her name is Malerie, or Mal for short, and I'm excited to have her because she has an Instagram account that is all about being a crunchy mom and holistic living and her faith to Jesus. And so I'm excited to have her on the podcast today to share more of her story, and that you don't have to be quote unquote an expert or have this big fancy degree to be a lower tox, healthy, holistic mom and have that for your family. So welcome, Malerie. Let me introduce you here. Malerie is a mom who is a lover of all things Jesus, wellness, and crunchy living. After becoming a mom, she dove deeper into her faith and started to learn more about the crunchy mom lifestyle. She believes crunchy living doesn't have to be all or nothing. She shares her journey honestly, embracing grace over guilt and progress over perfection. Malerie loves encouraging other moms to do what feels right for themselves and their families. Welcome, Malerie.
Hi guys.
Thanks for
Sorry, go.
joining.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I was super excited to be asked to join you today, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So it'll be a little bit different. I know in the podcast, we do kind of every other episode where I'm with me and my husband, and we're talking about our parenting journey and how we apply holistic, healthy lifestyles to our lives, as I'm a functional medicine consultant and a pharmacist. And then I switch on with experts talking about their expertise, whether that be pelvic floor, whether that be psychology, whether that be different things. However, I also wanted to have more of a connection feel and like two moms over coffee kind of feel. So I'm really excited to have you and share your journey where you are in motherhood too.
Love that. Yes, I love the two moms over coffee type of talk. It's my type of talk.
Yeah. So quick, we can kind of just go over how we met. We actually met through a mutual friend, Kit, at her bachelorette party is when we met. And you know those types of bachelorette parties where you're going, you might know like a few people. It was kind of two groups at that bachelorette party where I went to pharmacy school with her. So we had like our pharmacy friends, and then she had her hometown friends, which is where you were in. And then we did a favorites thing kind of gift to Kit, the bride, where we all gave something that we really loved to her, and then she had to guess who gave her each thing. And so when she was opening mine, I gave her like homemade beef tallow lotion and put like some essential oils and stuff in there. And she just goes, okay, it's either Mal or Kelly. And so she's like, you two are both crunchy. I'm like, oh wait, are Mal and I going to be friends then? Because
Yes.
that's a commonality.
Love that. Oh, that was funny because I was just like, that's actually a really good guess, Kit, but nope, not me.
And yeah, now we're in a virtual Bible study together too. So that's how we kind of continued to keep in touch.
Yes, I love that. Are you doing the Bible study next Monday, not this, or Sunday? I'm sorry, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. I think it starts, or two Sundays from
Sometime.
now.
It's on my calendar, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Good. Good. Yeah, I'm excited for this one because I am very unfamiliar with Ruth, so I think it's going to be really cool to learn a lot more about the Bible that I have not touched on once yet.
Yeah, I'm excited to go deeper into the book of Ruth, which is going to be our upcoming Bible study. And Ruth is honestly one of my favorite books. And I think partly because it's so short, I can like understand it.
Yeah.
And I like too how God really isn't like mentioned as much in the book, besides like Ruth saying like, your God is my God.
Mhm.
And it just kind of shows how much God is in the details of everything. And even when we're like not expecting it, even in the heartache, even in the troubles, like he's still working to make the bad into the good,
Mhm.
which I think is like so relatable in life.
Yeah. I'm really excited just to read about a woman too in the Bible because there's
Mhm.
not many women that are brought up in the Bible. It's all men. So it's really I really want to watch that. I think it's Ruth and Bo, right? Or Boaz,
Ruth
Boaz,
and Boaz.
Boaz.
Yeah, I
Yes,
want to watch
on
that too.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix, right?
I think it's Netflix. I believe so. Otherwise, Amazon Prime. I can't remember which one, but I'm definitely gonna probably watch that. So I think it's either a movie or it's a shorter series. I can't remember, but I think Lindsay recommended us watching it before we read it too, because she said it's pretty good. And I think a couple other girls mentioned that they watched it and they said it was really good to get like a more
Okay.
modernized idea of how Ruth was back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'm definitely doing that as homework.
Yes. Me too. Me too.
So tell me more about like you have one son. How
Yes.
old is he now?
He's a little like 2 and 5 months, I think, already. I feel like he's still my baby. So, but yeah, almost 2.5, I would say.
Oh my goodness. So you are like deep into the toddler living.
Yes, toddler living is it really, you need to give it grace and pay, oh gosh, so much grace because they are also learning about emotions and how to communicate. And communicating for a toddler is obviously hard because they're not verbalizing everything properly yet. So you just have to have patience with them because and their emotions aren't regulated. So it's been a learning experience, but I feel like ever since Oliver's been born, I have had a lot of patience with it. Don't get me wrong, I have my moments of snapping, of course. I hope I'm not the only one, but yeah, I feel like I'm in the midst of the toddler stage, but a lot of people who say, "Oh, you're in the terrible twos." I'm like, I don't look at it that way because I'm also learning so much about being a mom in general and then just having a toddler. I think even if I had another kid that was in the toddler stage, I still wouldn't call it terrible twos because I feel like they're learning just as much as you're learning. And I feel like even if you have one or however many kids, you're going to be learning from them still. So I've heard that three's harder, but I think no matter what, every year is going to be a little bit harder because I bet 13 is hard too. So, and they can communicate with you. So, yes, I'm in the midst of the toddler stages, but it's fun. I really like it because they come home
Fun.
from school learning something new every day.
Yeah, that is really fun. And I always say too, like, okay, so I have about a year-old now, which is insane to me because it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like toddler. It'll feel more like toddler-esque when she's really walking, I think. But, um, yeah, it's just crazy because I always say that I don't know what the next, like, phase holds, really. I know what my phase is right now, and I could, like, help advise for what came before,
Mhm.
but after that, it's all fair game. I have no idea what to expect, so we're just embracing it with open arms.
Exactly. Yes. And I think a big help too is just I feel like social media is like a kind of a blessing in a way with us nowadays as moms because there's so many unsolicited advice out there that you can like look at and be like, "Oh, that's good to know. Okay, maybe I can look for that." Or like, "Oh, that's a really good thing to help with my toddler." Not even and you're not even like necessarily searching for it. Sometimes it just pops up, and then you're like, "Huh, I didn't even think about that." Or I found something about how to basically hold my toddler down and brush his teeth. And I was like, I'll do that because I don't want to pay for cavities in the future. And now, the way we brush teeth, he gets upset, but he does it now. He knows that it's the routine. It's like little things like that. I'm like, God, I would have never known that because I would have struggled to brush his teeth probably. Or, it would have been a battle more every day if I didn't find this way of holding him down while doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like now with like TikTok and all that, it's brought more like rawness and realness to social media versus like all
Hmm.
the glammed up stuff
Exactly.
with generations before us. And so I appreciate that too. And I love looking for those tips or just like new information out there, which you always have to take with a grain of salt, but it can be really helpful. So, what brought you to like the crunchy lifestyle? You said that you haven't always been like this crunchy,
hmm
holistic type. So, what kind of swayed you to that?
I thought it was April of 2022. I moved out on my own in my own one-bedroom apartment. Um, I for like the first month or two I was living there, I was like, all of a sudden got on this algorithm of random things of just like, hey, did you know that your dish soap or your laundry soap does this to your endocrine system? And I'm like, whoa, okay, what? Because I remember when I used to look up like, is what's better for you, vegetable oil or olive oil? Because I didn't know. I was like, well, gosh, it's $4 cheaper to get the vegetable oil, and I would just kind of go back and forth. I'm like, well, whatever. But then came across an account on Instagram. She's someone I still follow to this day, and it said I started following her in March of 2023, and that was before I gave birth to Oliver. So this was, I would say, 2022 is when I started really kind of like realizing like, oh, that my laundry detergent's not good for me. So then I got pregnant at the end of 2022. And that's when smells started to really, really bother me. Candles. I loved candles. I loved anything perfume, anything that you can think of that had smells to it. I had it in my house. And then I started getting really sensitive to all things um, artificial. And then I was like, okay, I need to make a switch. And I was still kind of I wasn't following this account yet. I remember I would search her up and be like, what is this? Can I say her name on there? Oh, that Crunchy Mom Kate. I follow her religiously and ask her. I literally will be like, I wonder what Crunchy Mom Kate does for this. So I always like look up like what she uses for her lotion on her body or her
Yeah.
products that she uses on her hair or something. And so I kind of just like kept going back and forth, looking at her and looking at her stuff. And then all of a sudden you get in the algorithm of Branch Basics. I started with Branch Basics, loved that. And then when I was even further into my pregnancy, I was getting really nauseous in the morning. So I had to go back I had to find something that didn't make me nauseous. So I had to go back to the Tide. I had to go back to the Tide for a little bit. And then I was like, I can't put this on my kids' clothes. So I ended up getting just a concentrate from Truly Free. Started using Truly Free. And then I was like, I am using strictly Clorox everything. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I was like, what are seed oils? And then you go down the rabbit hole and then you're like, holy moly. And don't get me wrong, I still eat things with seed oils in it, but I don't crave like for example, Cheez-Its anymore. That was my favorite thing. I don't crave them anymore because nothing tastes good to me like that as much anymore. No candy. I don't even have I don't, besides M&Ms, maybe sometimes, but otherwise, I just don't have the urge I think it's just I changed my palate so much. So I felt like it wasn't super quick when I did a 180 flip, but it was probably within that 9 months of pregnancy where I was like, my jaw dropped, like finding all this. And then you get in the rabbit hole and then you get a little too crazy and then you stress yourself out, as you probably found out when you were pregnant. And then you just have to realize like you need to turn off your brain and just kind of pick one account and maybe go with that and just do what's best for you and your family is what I've really, really tried to tell myself. Like, hey, this works best for me. I got to keep doing it because there's so many brands out there you could use, so many things, and they're pretty much similar in the crunchy world. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah.
Which it's really nice that there are more alternatives now, I would say,
hmm
with that, so we have more options, but and more information, I think, out there too of, like, what that can do to the body, because a lot of it is even highlighted as safe and or healthy.
hmm
Like the Tide, for example, they have the Tide Free and Clear, which sounds so much better, and then you dig deeper and you're like, wait, this has a lot of chemicals itself too. So it's
hmm
not as safe as I thought it was going to be. And then too, with like motherhood, you're like, okay, well, I don't want any of that for my baby. One, they're another human, but two, they're this itty bitty human that they're sensitive to everything. And you want to set them up for life as
Yeah.
well with their gut health, their endocrine system, all of that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you notice a difference when you made a lot of those swaps?
Yes, I look back at pictures even of when I would say back even from 2020, 2021, and to now, my face doesn't look as so puffy anymore. Like, it was just, like, the puffiness of my face. Um, I can tell, like, say, for example, like, I still, like, will go get Culver's, for example, just because, 1, it's quick and easy, and I'm sorry, but that's still my favorite. I just don't know if I can give it up yet. But I can tell, like, if I'm out to eat and I ate those french fries, a soda, and a burger, I feel icky, like, pretty quick after. And I can tell that I don't usually eat that in my body because we do the 100% grass-fed finished beef. We do organic chicken, at home, but I can tell the difference for sure in how it makes my body feel now. I do feel like I am a lot healthier too. Just my hair looks a lot different. My skin, I still struggle with like hormonal acne, but like acne in general, like I would get it all like up in here and I'd get on my forehead, but like looked cystic almost. And I think a lot of it had to do with drinking too more heavily when I was that age. But yeah, I definitely can tell a difference. And I mean, I think even just after giving birth, you just feel different and you feel, and even after breastfeeding too, during breastfeeding, I felt like I was even healthier because I was like, I took all these supplements when I was pregnant and then I continued to slowly take them too when I was breastfeeding. But then also I'm like, okay, what I'm eating is going into my baby because that's how he's eating. So I felt, yeah, so long story short, yeah, I feel a lot different and look a lot different in my opinion.
Amazing. Um, What I've noticed too, now that my baby's doing solids and we're eating a lot of the same foods, so I'm cooking with her foods like really, really clean. And I would eat pretty clean, right? But I
Ew.
want her like 100% clean. And so I definitely notice now if I am like sneaking a treat, especially after the holidays, I'm like, oh, I know that I'm doing this so much more now because
Yes.
she wants it, and I'm like, "No, no, you can't have this." And so well, yeah, so I'm just, like, much more aware of what I'm eating, and then
Hmm.
since I'm feeding her such clean stuff and I'm eating that, I've noticed more of a difference too with myself.
Hmm.
Like you said, like, a lot of the inflammation, not as fatigued, you can sleep better, like, those kinda small changes over time, but it comes with consistency, like, not one clean meal is gonna make you healthy,
No,
like,
right.
not one bad meal is going to throw everything out the window either. So I really like how you are talking more like progress and consistency over perfection too.
I think what really think I noticed the most on is my gut health. Um, I used to drink every morning the hazelnut creamer of Coffee Mate with
Mhm.
Folgers every day. And I, you feel like it's normal to like, oh, coffee makes your stomach hurt after you have to go to the bathroom. And I didn't realize the unhealthiness of because everyone said there's black coffee is very good for you. Well, okay, great, but what brand? So I used to really fiddle with what brand. So I ended up getting for the longest time Peace Coffee and Equal Equal Trade, I think it's called. And then a lot of like small town coffee shops, I would try their espresso or their coffee as well because they would use organic, third party tested, all that. Because if it's third party tested, then you know that there's no mold, which I didn't even know was a thing. That was the one thing I was like, okay, coffee is my everyday thing. I have to be better about this. So I think I tried after the coffee mate, I was like, okay, I need to stop doing this. I really in the mornings, I just do almond milk, MALK, or just the strictly 3 ingredient almond milks out there, and then a superfood creamer. And honestly, it's night and day difference with the gut health, I swear. And I bet a lot of it has to do with just not having that Zion gum in there and all the additives of the sugar. That is probably my biggest transformation, I think. And now I drink everyday dose every morning, which is my favorite. I do the mild, and I do 2 scoops with of 8 ounces of water, and then my 2 scoops of I do layered superfood creamer, 2 scoops of that, and then my almond milk, and it's my favorite. So I really highly recommend mushroom coffee because it's also
Yeah.
very good for your gut health.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk about mushroom coffee because I also drink mushroom coffee and I drink the Rise brand,
Yes.
which is what I started with. And Rise is RYZE. So I started with Rise brand and then I've also tried the Everyday Dose, which to be honest, I liked the flavor of the Everyday Dose better. I think it's more consistent with how coffee actually tastes and like the consistency of it. Where
Hmm.
Rise definitely has more of like the sediment. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just me, but my gut feels better with Rise, and Everyday Dose gave me headaches,
Hmm.
personally.
Yep.
But I also noticed, which is why I made the switch to mushroom coffee again, because I used to drink it a lot, and then after like postpartum, I just was drinking regular coffee because we have a Nespresso machine or the Nespresso pod thing, and that
Hmm.
was really good. But I was getting so many headaches, and then I would feel like that rise and then that crash, and then just like I couldn't get over that. And so,
Hmm.
just so that I can be a better mom, I needed more of a consistent energy and I needed to feel better. And so, these mushroom coffees have a lot less caffeine in them, and then they have the adaptogenic mushrooms, which can help regulate cortisol better. So again, you're not having that intense high, and then to coincide with that, the crash. And so it can be a lot gentler and it can be a lot of them have nootropics in it. So that can help with like brain focus.
Hmm.
Um, which is a little bit different than caffeine. It's gentler, but it's also, like, more brain specific than just, inhibiting the sleep or the sleepiness that caffeine does. So yeah, I also enjoy mushroom coffee as well. And then you talked about how, like, even with the almond milk, how you look for ones that have a lot less ingredients. And so I think the ingredient labels really show everything because, like we said, a lot of things are advertised as like a healthier option. And even, there's the oat milk creamers, the healthier coffees, like you mentioned, a lot of coffees have mold in them,
Hmm.
and so that can be, like, really, affecting people's health, and then with the almond milk, with the creamers, a lot of them will have a lot of preservatives or gums, so just looking at that is, like, mind-blowing itself.
It is. I swear and this is also part when I started, I would go to Whole Foods and one time I was there for 2.5 hours because I was so crazy about what was on the labels because I was like, oh my gosh, this has natural flavors. And then um, this has canola oil, but then this has just olive oil in it, but then it has natural flavor. Where's the natural flavor coming from? And then this has this. And I was like going in crazy. And then I finally like came to a conclusion. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drive myself crazy and go start and just starve at this point. So you can't be so crazy about it because it is so hard to get because anything in a package is processed. I mean, it's just how much of it are you going to put into your body, And then I feel like that was like the main thing about looking at labels with my milks. Like I'm drinking coffee every day. I want something that's gonna be healthy to put in my body every single day. So that was something I was like, okay, what is gonna be best? It's a little bit more expensive, but I'm using it every day and I enjoy it? So that was the one thing is looking at those labels really and I just advice to anybody, don't spend so much. Just do your research, but don't waste your whole day in the grocery store. Or
Yeah.
if you do have the time and you like that, like if you're someone who really likes grocery shopping, make sure you're there by yourself so you kind of take the time to really, honestly, that's how you're going to learn probably the most is actually visually looking at the labels, taking your time and seeing which ones are going to be best for you and your family and the most affordable option.
Yeah. Yeah, because the marketing itself can make it look really healthy, and, like, even my family did a lot of grocery shopping for us before we got there in Minnesota when we went to visit for Christmas. And I could tell like how stressed my mom was about this because I gave her this whole list, and a lot of it I was trying to help with, like, these are the brands I get so that you don't have to do the research, but they didn't have the same brands in Minnesota as they do in Texas. So I
Mhm.
probably just made her more stressed. And and then she was like, "Well, this is what I got." And so just like the education, I think, of looking at the label, because there's so many things that are advertised as healthy. Butter, for instance. So she got a butter, and there's so many butters that I didn't realize. There's so many butters that are mixed with seed oils to make
Yes.
it cheaper. And, so, like, that compared to if it's a spreadable butter, have it just be, like, butter, or the ingredients would be, like, cream and olive oil, salt, water, that kinda thing. Where, like, the cheaper ones are mixed with a lot of canola oils, vegetable oil, those types of things, maybe preservatives, or when they do, like, skim milk plus, like, a fat. I'm like, "What are you doing? Just make cream."
Yeah.
I don't
Just
know. I'm like, "What is going on? Why are we making it with skim milk?"
yeah, seriously. It
Um,
makes you question it a lot, but then that's when you just have to be like, "Okay, it's okay. Just take a deep breath and then just look at the labels and then just get what obviously works best for your checkbook and you and your family. Because otherwise you will drive yourself crazy and you're like, "Why is there so
yeah.
many seed oils and butter?" And then
Yeah.
you just keep spiraling.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I like too what you kind of talked about is doing one swap at a time, because then it can feel a lot more doable. Like, you made coffee a priority because
Yes.
that was something that you're doing every single day. So it's going to move the needle so much more, than something that is in your life maybe every few weeks or once a month type of thing. Like, you were like laundry detergent and coffee. Those are two things right away that we're using all the time.
Yes. Yes. I think also too is, um, I think once I did the laundry detergent, I was really like, "Okay, what else in my house?" And it was laundry detergent, dish soap, and, um, dishwasher, powder. So I switched over I was doing Branch Basics, and then I switched over to Truly Free for everything. Like, I think I said that before earlier, but that I feel like has made a difference too. Don't get me wrong, I still have Dawn dish soap under my sink because I bought the biggest gallon, and it does work nicely for those pots and pans with the grease. Don't get me wrong, but I do not use it for like bottles and like especially for my son's dishes because like what you kind of said earlier, like, well, I want to 100% be like healthy and crunchy for him. So I try to do everything. And then here's me using my Dawn if I need to for my coffee cup, but it's
Right.
my coffee cup.
Yeah. And that there is a difference too about like what they can handle as little humans, and everything is so like they have a leakier gut by design. Like, all of these things are going to absorb so much more, and little things are going to affect them so much more than
Yeah,
as an adult. So
exactly.
like we can handle more toxins just naturally. Our liver is going to process that better than what they are going to process as a little human. And so I mean, it does make a difference, and then as dish soap runs out, then you can make that switch if you feel like that's reasonable for you and your family,
Mhm.
and then you don't have 2 different soaps kinda thing. But yeah, because a lot of those things that have, like, the fragrances, like you said, those can be endocrine disruptors, and what that means is it can affect their hormones as they grow up too. And so that's a big thing with endocrine disruptors, and like girls especially, they're getting their periods so much earlier because of all of these endocrine disruptors that are in our lives now, where girls used to get periods around 11, 12, 13, 14, and now they're getting periods at 7, 8, 9. And so that's a huge difference than what it used to be even when we were growing up, and we're not that old. And so, like, that is affecting them, and so what we can do for, like, the little changes now, even as little kids, little babies and toddlers,
Mhm.
that's gonna make, like, a bigger impact in their lives, especially what you can control at home, because I think there is truth of, like, you're not going to control everything in their lives, and they're going to go to other places, they're gonna go to birthday parties, they're gonna do other things, but if you can have that, control for keeping their day-to-day as healthy as can be and living that 80-90% healthy lifestyle, I think that can make a big difference.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. That's why I think too, some people are just like, well, I don't, a lot of it's financial too, like switching out your pots and pans. Like I was like, I can't afford that, right? That's a big purchase. So I was like, I could just ask for Christmas because now that I'm 30 years old, that's going to be a really good Christmas present for my parents. And I did end up getting our place. And I really like them. I think if I would probably get stainless steel and cast iron next versus that, but that's a little bit more expensive. But it's just again, it's just taking your time and just making the small swaps one at a time. And especially with, I think another big one I did that I asked for was a water filter.
Mhm.
Just because I didn't want to go, I went to the co-op all the time to get the jugs of water of the reverse osmosis, and it adds up, but also I'm like, it was just inconvenient to go fill up water at the co-op probably twice a week. I was getting sick of it, and especially drinking water consistently when you're nursing and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, one more chore for sure. We do something similar where there's a place that has, like, the Kangen water, which is the hydrogen water and, like,
Mm,
ultra clean, obviously, too, and so they do like, you buy a jug, and then it's free refills for life, which it's kind of a distance from me, but my mother-in-law, who lives with us, it's right next to her gym, so she just fills them up when she's there, and so that is, like, how we're getting a better filtered water in, and again, it's not 100% of our water because we run out of it, and then someone has to go fill it up, but I think it's helpful, and it's, like, one little step that we can do because we're also not, like, paying for that really expensive water filter at this moment too.
yeah, exactly.
Let's go into more of, like, your faith journey too
Hmm.
and touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So what does that faith journey mean to, like, in your motherhood?
Um, I think just when I became pregnant, I was like, okay, this is the most terrifying thing because it's something so new and it's something you truly can't plan for because anything can happen, as you know. And I think I really just had to like trust in God and just give give it all to Him and be like, hey, man, I know you're here. I know you got this. I know you got me. And I was like, I need to make sure I teach my son about him and about Jesus and how Jesus loves us. And I remember growing up and I was reading I started the Bible recap and I was reading Genesis 1 this morning because I started a day late. And I remember watching these little movies when I was younger of just like basic Adam and Eve. And I'm like, and then you read in the Bible now that you're 30 versus 4 or 5 years old, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I understand this so much better." And I was like, I want Oliver to understand this." So I we got him his first Bible, saying Jesus loves me, and I just think that it's really important because I don't wanna push it down his throat. I want him to want to learn about Jesus and show him that, like when we had the, nativity set up, like, "Oh, there's baby Jesus, that's and then there's Santa. Santa's Jesus's helper." Making it fun for him versus like, okay, every Sunday we're going to go to church and this is what we have to do. Not that that's bad or
Mhm.
anything, but I we don't go to church every Sunday. I've brought Oliver to church once, and he did great. He really enjoyed the music, and he just sat there and just watched. But I think it's really important just to start that little foundation with him and just pray every night before bed, and just knowing um, that he gets excited to pray and read his Bible and asks to read it, it makes me feel like really excited for him in the future. That it makes me, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm doing this right, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's like the small little things that
Hmm.
will grow over time, and you're just trying to help him be curious about it so that his faith can be his own. Because I hear too when kids are like, "Yeah, my mom and dad are Christians." I'm like, "Well, that doesn't make you a Christian, right?"
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
saying your parents are Democrats or conservative. That doesn't make you that either. You have to figure out your own values and make your faith your own. Just because you believe in Jesus doesn't mean that that is the same thing for your children, although we want it to be. You have to help them and help them learn is the
Yes.
biggest thing.
Exactly. I agree.
Did you see that the Bible recap is also coming up with a Bible recap for kids? I just saw that
Yes,
they're
I
starting
did
that.
see that. Yes. I
Yeah.
was like, I wonder if I should start this with Oliver or at least like kind of show him like maybe, at bedtime versus it's hard because it's on a phone and I try not to have my phone out during bedtime because we like to listen to music before bed. And so I'm like, well, maybe we can do it like maybe after school, like when we get home from daycare and stuff, like try something like that. Cause I was like, that'll be really nice because he loves the Bible time. So I really like that they did that.
Yeah, me too. And the Bible recap is like holds a special place in my heart. So I'm excited for when Danielle's like talking and everything and understanding more to involve her in it. And maybe with parents too who haven't read the Bible yet and or it feels like really daunting that that's something that they can do with their kids because it's
Hmm.
going to be obviously like I'm assuming a lower level and just like more broad and vague and more understandable for kids. And so it's something that you can like dive into that way that feels less scary. But the Bible recap in itself is just about 20 minutes a day, about 10 minutes of reading and 10 minutes of video. So it makes it pretty simple in my eyes that I've really enjoyed too.
Yeah, I agree. Another good thing resource too for kids and parents together is Minnow
Yeah, I've
Kids
heard
or
that.
Minnow. Yeah, that's really nice. I had a subscription for it for a little while, and then he wasn't interested at the time to like really watch TV, so then we just didn't continue with it. But I really want to have him watch. Is it Young David or David that just came out in theaters?
Mhm.
And I really want him to watch that once it's available on one of the streaming platforms because I've heard from even adults they said it was a very very good movie, and with it being animated, which is really nice.
Yeah. And it's fun too, like, watching that kinda stuff as an adult, and then you catch up on things that the more you know about the Bible stories, you're like, "Oh, I like how they, like, threw that in there."
Mhm.
Or even watching, like, The Chosen and
Yes.
watching that now after, like, reading the stories in the Bible, where The Chosen in itself, I think, does a really good job at telling the story, but then when you read the Bible, you, like, catch so many more things, like, what they included, and you're like, "Oh,
Yes.
that was very purposeful on how they included that."
Yes. That makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, I think we can, like, start wrapping up. Something I ask everyone, what advice do you have for our functional medicine for mom listeners?
Um, Gosh, putting me on the spot, Kelly.
I know. It
I
can
would
be
say,
motherhood, it can be non-tox living, it can be faith, it can be anything.
um, I think my biggest is surround yourself with people who are very like-minded like you, or even are trying to figure out, for example, their faith or crunchy living, or just want to learn more about it. I would say surround yourself with those type of people because not only will they learn from you, but you'll learn from them. And I think that it makes your circle a lot more it makes you feel really blessed, I think,
Yeah,
and cherish those people a lot more. Just and it to raise your children around them too is really nice.
yeah. They always say how you're the most like, what is it, 3 or 5 people that you surround yourself with, and
Mhm.
that also includes social media and all of that. So because we live in such a different world now. Like, I started why I really liked doing this podcast or why I like the idea of it was I started listening to parenthood podcasts after I had my baby and how, like, they spoke so fondly and so excited about being a mom and how, like, great it was really helped me change my perspective on it. And not
Mhm.
change my perspective, but, like, gain a perspective because it was also new to me where if you're talking with friends or following accounts that are, like, complaining a lot about it or saying, like, how hard it is, which it definitely there are difficult times for sure, but it really, like, helps your perspective, like, it helps create that. So, I really like that advice.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And then too, like, with faith in itself, I think faith is more new for me as well. I started getting into it a lot more the past few years. And so having friends that align with that and help me grow in my faith is important to me. And so, because now I know how to incorporate it more into my daily life, raising my
Mhm.
children, all of that too.
Exactly. I agree with that. And I I'll be someone that what was the saying I said in Bible study? It was be that person that when you get to heaven, they're like, "I'm here because of you," or because you showed me who Jesus was. Or do you know
Yeah.
which one I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Or invite someone to church. That one I like that what we brought up at Bible study a few
Mhm.
times. Invite them.
Yeah. Because even when we brought that up in Bible study, like, everyone kinda shared their story of what led them to want to know more about Jesus or the Bible or whatever, and a lot of them, like, even me included, it was someone invited them to church, and a lot of times it's not even, like, they went the first time, I didn't go the first time. It took a couple, like, one of my patients kept inviting me to their church, and it helped when he kept asking, like, after a few times, I'm like, "Actually, we are free now, and I've been interested, and so thank you for inviting us again," because it's what led me to want to know more. And then you also have an Instagram account that you started. When did you start that?
Well, I would say a year and a half ago, but I really just kind of redid it with just like mom life and what I'm doing now, like just a couple months ago. I kind of like repositioned my niche and everything.
Yeah. Tell us more about like why you wanted to do that in general, what you share on your account.
I just think I like just to because I love following all my like very raw normal moms that just like to show their life, and I'm a yapper, so I'm like I just love to watch other people yap about stuff that I'm interested. So I'm like I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna do that too because I feel like I have a lot of people who do follow me, and I'm like, girl, I didn't know you like this type of stuff, or maybe they're following me just because they know me, but I'm like, but maybe then I can teach them something about Jesus or something about my non-crunchy life without actually telling them face to face. Like they get to see a little bit of it on my page. And I really like that. And sometimes it's just fun to just share stuff that's just about you that's not on your personal profile. It's just kind of fun just to show it on the public one that you can just be authentically yourself and you might feel a little bit more intimidated because some people are following you, so you might feel judged. But I really like showing my I actually like creating the reels. I think it's kind of fun and just to kind of see how they do or not do just because you're like, I don't know, I thought that was fun to create. I think it looks good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's why I like doing it. And I like showing people like because I've had people like, hey, do you like, what is this everyday dose? And I kind of tell them like, yeah, I've been doing it for a couple months now and I really like it. And it's really helped with my gut health. And they're like, oh, really good to know. And then maybe they decide to buy it, maybe they don't. But I like just sharing my snacks that I like too. Cause they're like, oh my gosh, I like this one. Have you tried this? I'm like, no, I would love to try that one. So I'm also learning stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I like following you too because like even the snack thing, I get into such a routine and like almost a rut sometimes of these are my healthy snacks. So having you, make a trip to Target and you're like, this is what I'm picking up at Target and this is why and these are the ingredients and this is my swap. I'm like, this is fantastic because I have my, order that I'm doing my drive up or whatever. Like I get such into a routine, so it's fun to see like what other people are eating or what they're thinking of or what swaps they're making or how they even like them, right? Of like a bar or something and you're like, ew, this is gross. I want to know it's gross, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, wait, that's at Target? I'm so looking for that next time I'm there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. And then where can they find you, Mal? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is momming with Mal. That's it. And then my name is Malerie James. So you can follow me on Instagram. I only go on Instagram. I am not a TikToker. I just don't have time to just do both platforms. So just follow me on Instagram at momming with Mal.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mal.
Thank you, Kelly. It was nice seeing you and talking with you.
Thanks so much for listening to my podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss one, leave a quick 5-star review, and share it with your mom friends who love it too. I'm Kelly with a background as a pharmacist and training in functional medicine. I help women move past fatigue, brain fog, gut issues, and hormone struggles so they can thrive in everyday life or prepare for a healthy pregnancy. Through lab testing, personalized supplements, and functional medicine coaching, I help you feel better, faster, naturally. Want to connect more? Head over to MolineMethod.com or come hang out with me on Instagram and YouTube at Functional Medicine for Moms. On my site, you can order professional grade supplements at my discount or book a free discovery call if you'd like to see how we can work together on your health. This podcast is for educational purposes only and not medical advice. Always talk to your provider before making changes to your health plan. And remember, healthy moms raise healthy families. Catch you next time. New episodes released every Wednesday.